Hello everybody, welcome to CGTN social media platforms. I'm Silkina Ahluwalia. We are in hot and humid Jakarta today. We are going to be talking about all things transportation in Jakarta. So as you guys know, Jakarta just inaugurated our first MRT station. So that's mainly what we're going to be talking about. But we're also going to be talking about some of the other public transport that are already in place in the city. And I'm not alone today. I'm joined by Mr. Yoga Adiwinarto. Thank you so much for joining us.
No worries.
You're the expert here, so we're going to talk.
I'm a resident. I'm not an expert.
Okay, cool. Almost an expert. So we're going to start talking a little bit about just Jakarta's transportation system and how it has evolved over the years, where we began and where we are now. So how have you seen, as an analyst, Jakarta's transportation system evolve throughout the decades?
Right. So actually this road is the perfect road to explain all the improvement happening.
Yeah.
We don't see it now, but underground there is this, the newly built MRT or metro. But you also see here there's like a lot of buses going on.
Yeah.
All this bus rapid transit. That's been here for I think about 15 years. But you can also see some of the old stuff still going on. So, if we're lucky enough, like for example, this bus that will be coming, that's basically the old buses, not the one in camera right now, but you'll
the
see
green
in about
bus
now.
Now.
It's like not the old traditional buses.
Yeah.
That will be soon, replaced by the BRT. So, I mean, the whole thing is still here now, the old and the new. But also the greatest thing is like the sidewalk. You can see now all the sidewalk here is like, it's I think this one is like maybe, I don't know, 6 meters wide.
Yeah, I mean this looked so different.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a year ago even.
It's actually it's part of the sort of Asian Games, but also MRT building. Yeah. You see like all the investment that the city made are currently now towards the public transport and pedestrians, because the city realized that, look, we cannot live with this car-oriented city forever. Like we have to change, and the best way to do it is through public transport. So I mean, all the movement are basically now, putting into the public transport investment.
Yeah, and I mean, we have so many different forms of public transport as well. Like what we see over here is a really popular motorcycle taxi on my right here, Gojek, and it just it's really easy to get from point A to point B now in Jakarta. But I mean, of course, traffic is an issue, and this is what we're going to be talking about. We have this new MRT, and it's like how important do you think this new MRT is to Jakarta's transportation system? What are some of the advantages you think?
Right. So, well, let's just start with the Gojek first. I mean, Gojek is the perfect example also to show that the not so good quality service covered in other Jakarta area currently served by this Gojek. So they try to fill the gap basically. Where when they started in 2015, I think the public transport in Jakarta is not as good as currently is.
Yeah.
So they try to fill in all this movement, like from the residential areas and everything. But also now, even with the newly built BRT, MRT, and also the BRT, Gojek still, and also this Grab and Gojek motorcycle taxi companies, they still have some place to at least serving the first and last mile problem.
Yeah.
So while we have all this MRT, which covers 16 kilometer long on south and central Jakarta, there are many areas that are not covered by the MRT. I would say
not yet, or not covered at all.
Maybe in 2030.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
But still, like the MRT will only be able to be built on the area where you have high demand. Like where you have like low residential areas, and these are the area that not profitable for the public transport, not quite efficient for public transport to go in, and that's where this motorcycle taxi try to fit in. That will be the ideal scenario. Although right now still they still serve all the main trunk and kind of like competing with the public transport in a way. But I think in the future we can still see each of the modes can have some role to play in mobilizing the people in Jakarta.
Yeah, and what kind of behavior do you think should change? I mean, I know people are used to riding, you know, public transport, but I mean, if we talk about MRT, like if I were somebody that is a public transport user and I look at MRT and I look at the motorcycle taxi, for example, I would probably prefer the motorcycle taxi because it gets you straight from point A to point B. So do you think that that is kind of a disadvantage for an MRT, or I mean, is it just, am I the only one that thinks this way?
Well, right now, yes, because there's no integration being planned.
Yeah.
I mean,
so right now we're making our way to one of the stations.
The station of the MRT, but also the point also relates to the integration plan.
Yeah.
So even, you know, like less than a year before the MRT started, there is no integration plan yet between the different modes in Jakarta. So, you know, the Transjakarta, for example, you know, that's been here for like 15 years.
Yeah.
It's not yet, well, at that time, it wasn't really, you know, planned to integrate with the MRT.
Yeah.
So a lot of work actually, you know, was done during the last 6 months to make sure the integration happened between the MRT and the BRT and other public transport modes.
Yeah.
So regarding to Gojek, I think the other way is that we want to make sure that, you know, what I said before, like the first mile or last mile. I mean, like in China, this kind of trips are actually now covered by the bike sharing. Unfortunately, we don't have it yet now, but I think it could be a potential market for the bike sharing to also serving the first mile, you know, from your home to the nearest MRT station, for example, or from the station to, you know, to the office, which not be located, like maybe located within like 1 to 2 kilometers from the MRT station. So I think, again, in the future, there should be a plan to integrate all different modes, connecting from people where your people live to people work. You know, like, so it can be like, so that could be seen as like, you know, seamless integration, you know, seamless transportation.
Yeah, because I mean, the point of public transport is really convenience, right? Like people are looking for convenience. They want to be able to kind of get out from their houses and to have a station and then to just get to the place immediately. As opposed to, for example, for me, I live in South Jakarta, but it's like near my home, there's no station around my home. So it's like I don't think about riding the MRT, for example, because I would have to take a cab or like my car to the station, and then, it's just like a whole...
Right, but I would also argue that that would be also, while, you know, providing convenience for public transport is one thing, but another thing is also, you know, providing, you know, what I call inconvenient for private vehicle users. So, for example, this motorcycle taxi, or even like just using your, you know, your taxi or your cars, that should be made very inconvenient. So we can start with motorcycle and private vehicle, like, you know, private cars and motorcycle. So all of this, you know, like for example, right now, parking in Jakarta is so easy and so cheap. You know, you can basically get for like, you know, less than $1 per hour. I think it's like what, like maybe 30 cents per, you know, per hour. Whereas, you know, if you compare to other cities, even in China, I think you know, the parking, some of the cities are actually quite high. And we also have this silly regulation that makes the parking space really abundant. Parking supply is like abundant in the city center of Jakarta. So this is the place where the value of the apartment, the value of the land is super, super expensive, but you have, you know, super cheap parking price and also, you know, very, very high supply. Like for example, our analysis suggests that along the MRT north side of the state, like north part, which covers from Tamrin and Sudirman, there's like 38,000 parking spaces along the road, and that's like huge. I mean,
that's a lot.
Even the road per hour, they cannot manage to cover all, like to accommodate all of these vehicles in 1 hour. So this is the reason why Jakarta is so congested, because people are very, very convenient to drive and also park their cars.
Exactly. And let's talk about that congestion. You know, we have one of the worst traffics in the world. Is it true? We do.
Oh,
one of, yeah, ish. Like, for example, if we were to take the route from where we are right now to the south of Jakarta, like the end of the station, which is Lebak Bulus,
right.
That would probably take us about 30 minutes. But if we were to take a car, how long would that take us? Around an hour with the traffic?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, the government has tried to implement a few things to kind of reduce traffic, such as the odd even policy. 3-in-1 didn't work.
Yeah.
But do you think MRT will significantly decrease traffic in the city?
No, that's the thing. So people always argue that, you know, building the metro, building all the expensive toys of, you know, LRT and everything will, you know, immediately solve the traffic. It's not. The only way you solve the traffic, you basically reduce the traffic, is when you really reduce the traffic by limiting cars or, you know, or motorcycle entering the city. So I said before, you know, the parking is one thing. You know, some cities like Singapore, they use this like congestion charge, which also we will use. I think we'll try to do it next year. What we call the ERP, the electronic road pricing. You know, some cities they also use this like vehicle quota. I think Singapore used that, and also Hong Kong used that. But I think, you know, all of the things needs to be done, you know, to reduce the private vehicle usage, because
that's the main takeaway.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now, you know, you have this MRT, which has like a lot of capacity. I mean, you know, it can basically the current capacity right now, I think they can accommodate like up to I don't know if it's like 400,000 passengers.
Yeah.
Whereas Jakarta, you know, like can be like 1 million and everything, but they're still under capacity right now. They're still like, you know, operating below their capacity. So in order for them, to reduce, also to increase the passengers, also by forcing people to move from their private vehicle. And it's actually proven, you know, in many cities where you have, like for example, London, you know, take an example, like they have very strict, what we call the transport demand management, you know, like parking and others. So, yeah, so I think this is really critical.
Oh, I need to get my ticket.
Okay, so.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a ticket.
You can actually use mine. I have mine as well.
Okay.
Here. I think you can use this one.
Okay, cool. So okay.
Yeah, just tap it.
Ooh.
It's very convenient, right?
It's really convenient.
Yeah.
So, so this is just like an e-money card.
That's e-money, yeah. So this is the thing. This is actually one of the critical thing in the payment system is very critical.
Yeah, for sure.
So I need to also, you know, my other card. I don't know. I'm like a card seller right now. I have a 3 bank card. Like this is actually issued by 3 different banks. So like Bank Mandiri. This is by Bank BNI and also by BCA. So this is like all bank issued card. But this bank's card can be used in many, you know, all the Transjakarta, MRT, and even the commuter railway. Yeah. But now they also, like for example, this card, we can actually use it in the what we call the microbus or angkot. You know, all of so payment integration is really critical because you want to make sure that people have the easy, you know, access, and also this prevents like leakage. Like all this, you know, traditional minibus operators, we don't know how much they're making. Yeah. You know, we don't know whether they're actually making a lot of money or they, you know, they suffer. So now the government actually restructured the business model, and they use this e-payment in order for them, so passengers can actually use this for free. So now if you use this microbuses in Jakarta, it's free, and then you can just use it for Transjakarta later on.
And how important was the implementation of like affordable pricing for the MRT? Because we know that it gets competitive again with motorcycle taxis. So do you think that the pricing is affordable for, you know,
like if
people that need to commute?
So that there's also the answer is also the payment integration. So like for example, you know, this morning when I took the MRT from my house, which only like less than 2 kilometers from the MRT station.
Yeah.
I have to take the like sort of like non-integrated yet with the minibuses, which cost about 4,000 rupiah.
Yeah.
And then I took the MRT. Currently, it's discounted price as like 3,500.
Yeah.
But then
it's still
it'll be like
discounted right now.
but it'll be like 7,000. So
so
like
it's 50%.
Yeah. But I mean once it goes up, like it become like 7,000. But then also from here, then I have to go to the office. Then I take the Transjakarta, which is another 3,500, and I have to change the buses again. So
that's what I'm saying about.
So the payment integrate, like even though we have to change, like so it's not necessarily only the fare of the MRT itself, but it's the integration of different modes. So if my journey from home to the office can be made into like one fare structure, like for example, I pay 10,000, but basically from my house to my office,
using different modes of public
using
transport.
Different modes,
yeah.
And that will be ideal. And that's actually what's currently done in many cities.
Yeah.
They have like this, like for example in Santiago in Chile, they have this like less than 700 pesos for like 3 hours. So you can go as many trips as I think 3
How
or
much
4
is that 700 pesos around?
I think it's about like 5 to 7,000 also
That's so
rupee
cheap.
or so. Yeah. So you can actually, so it's kind of like a time base. So they don't use the distance base, but they kind of like use time base. So 3 hours, that's like
And
your
you can go
maximum
anywhere.
limit. Yeah.
Using multiple.
I think maximum
modes.
3 or 4.
Okay, so we're gonna go down.
Yeah.
And this is obviously where we take the train.
Right.
We're hoping you can still hear us. Yeah, that's a really good point, and that's what I think people want is an integration of many different public transport system in the city so that it's easy for them to kind of get to point A, point B, even using different modes, you know, whether it be buses or, you know, in this case, trains,
and the other thing, this is 2019, not 1995. So also the app is really critical. So like for example, this is also in my phone. Like I have like I think 3 or 4 journey planner app.
Wow.
So this is really how you get things move around. So I mean, I think this is really like the information is really critical. Right now you can see here no information whatsoever. It's maybe like you have like one map, but then you know, if I want to go from this station to my office, like where do I take and everything, it's not yet clear.
Yeah, and I mean, how long has it been? I'm guessing about 2 months. No, a month now.
Not even a month.
Not even a month, yeah, exactly.
It just opened like 2 weeks ago.
We had a trial period for the MRT, which was around a month, right?
Yeah.
And then now it's just beginning to open to the public. And obviously during the trial period it was free and people could really get a feel of what.
Yeah. Now people were really enthusiastic, especially the non-user. I would say non-user is like the people who only use it for fun, which is during the weekend.
And like, you know, people who would usually not use public transport, but now they're kind of just, you know, getting a feel of it. Who do you think, or which country do you think we, Indonesia, you know, could or should look up to when it comes to public transportation, like a very good public transportation system?
Well,
close or far?
Many. No, there are many. I mean, like people. Well, the favorite so far for the government, also people, is like Singapore, obviously.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Yeah, but then Singapore, I mean, yes, you can see that the modes and also some principle. But I think there are a lot of adjustment that you need to make, especially because of the density and everything. Hong Kong is another example, but I think many China city actually really interesting. Like so we've been using Guangzhou a lot actually in China as an example, not only for the like the integration between the metro and also the BRT. And also, the what we call the greenways, the greenway network along the area, and also, along the Guangdong province. So I think this is really critical that people needs to like take different examples. And also, it's not only the transportation is not only about buses, not only about trains. It's actually about the people itself. So people keep forgetting, like when the debate going on about, we need to make public transport better, or like we need to make transportation better, and they keep fighting about, is it LRT, BRT, or MRT, different kind of technology, whereas actually they forget the important thing, which is the people, like pedestrian walkways, all these greenways,
that
crossings.
Is so important.
Yeah,
pedestrian walkway.
So that's why we think that. I think Hong Kong is a good example also. Like they don't neglect the importance of the people or the pedestrians. I think there's a train coming.
Yes, a train
so
is
you can,
coming.
we can actually see now.
And it says train is arriving.
Train is arriving. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, so
really,
I mean it's just a standard modern train.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, if you also see what does it mean for the MRT for Jakarta?
Yeah.
Is it improving public transport? I would say yes, but not so much. But it's actually we can actually use it as a symbol. Yeah. Like you can see here all this what do you call the road mark, or like
Yeah.
the signage, people start queuing here. This is not.
It kind of teaches them etiquette.
Exactly, yeah.
basically.
So this is actually changing the behavior of people using public transport. So people
Sure.
now wait, for passengers to get out, and they're happy, yeah, they're happy. They're waving. Yeah. So no, I mean this is and also MRT company also teaches them. Oh, watch out!
Watch out! Watch out! Careful!
Yeah, I think we're gonna go to
doors.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the other thing is also I want to mention here is that
Yeah.
you don't if you can see surrounding, there's no trash bin here on this platform.
Right.
So the MRT people try to teach us the passengers,
Yeah.
if you consume something, just stop when you use the MRT and just keep it. Like if you have your waste, just keep it.
I actually heard Japan is very similar like that. Like they don't have a lot of trash cans everywhere. They kind of
Yes.
teach you to hold on to your trash.
It was yeah, but I mean, it started as a different reason. They
Okay.
started because of the sarin gas in the back in '95 or something.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a security measure, and also I mean many European cities also like that now
Yeah,
because
yeah,
of
yeah.
the recent terrorist attacks and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but I think it's also a good thing that you don't. Like your personal way should be your responsibility, not the city's responsibility. Why should the city, take care of your, drink and
Yeah.
also?
I
Your,
never thought about it like that actually. Yeah.
So
It's
yeah, so I think
interesting.
this is something that we need to, and MRT is really pushing a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, we had some hiccups in the beginning of the trial when people didn't like, because people were not informed of this, and
Yeah.
people just like using the bottle and putting the trash away. So I think
Yeah.
this now we can see like it's very clean, no trash or anything like that.
No, yeah, and I think that is actually the next point that I wanted to talk about, which is the importance of teaching people to change their behavior and teaching etiquette to keep this area clean. When we had the trial period, there was like photos that went viral about people, like sitting on the floor and stuff. But I mean, I don't think people can change immediately like that. I think like they need to be taught, and maybe they can be taught by example.
Well, no.
I don't
mean,
know.
I have a lot of respect
Yeah.
for people, not only like, for
Right.
human in general.
Yeah, of course.
No, I think it's just like a lack of information.
Okay,
So I mean,
yeah.
like this is the
Like they don't know any better, basically.
Well, basically, there's no information telling them like you shouldn't.
Don't do this,
Yeah,
don't do
don't do this or don't do that. And also like if like maybe sitting areas needed. Like for example, we have some benches here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then maybe where people wait very long, then they need some put also some benches because
Yeah.
the corridor that we walked before. It was kind of like that, like nothing is there, nothing's there, and
Yeah.
then people say, oh, like free sitting area, like just sit at the floor.
Sit,
So
yeah.
we I think information and also facility will really help to improve that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really blame the people, like people are not ready and everything. No, the facility needs to be able to to
Accommodate them, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so to wrap this entire thing up, what are some of your personal expectations for the MRT in the future, in the long run, and also for Indonesia's public transportation system? How much more do you think we can grow in the next few years?
So again, I don't think MRT is the single solution.
Yeah.
We should see MRT as kind of like a reform of public transport. Sure, it's a new symbol, modern symbol of public transport in Jakarta. But people, the government should not forget about the real issue here, which is the whole area of Jakarta. So we did the analysis actually. The MRT right now only covers 3% of Jakarta population. If in the area where people like within 1 kilometer of the station.
Yeah.
So we still have like lot of area, like 97% are not covered by the MRT.
Yeah.
And this is where the other modes of public transport, from buses, from the BRT, LRT, even like the microbuses, they have different roles. And these are the public transport that are managed and organized by the city.
Yeah.
And then for what about for private? Where is the role of private? And that's also we can also find a role like better integration with this motorcycle taxi, for example.
Yep.
So I think in the
Teamwork.
it's a teamwork,
Yeah.
exactly. So integration is the key word right now, and it is the critical point, and will also still be relevant for the next 10 to 20 years. So a fragmented services will not do any good for the public transport in Jakarta.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much
right.
for your input. I learned a lot.
Well, thanks.
I'm really proud of my country and my city, obviously.
Right.
I love...
Well, you should be, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We all should be. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for leaving your comments on Facebook. I've been reading them. Thank you to Yoga, obviously, for his input and his expertise. Always happy to talk to you. I will see you guys next time. Bye. And the train is just leaving.
Okay, bye-bye, train.